Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to send a thank you to Bill Gates himself for the new documentaries coming out with Solving for Zero. It helped me put an exclamation point on the ending of my book. And again, I'm just fine-tuning everything, but I'm glad I found this. If this is the last detail I add to the book, again, I'm super happy I found this. It's just unbelievable, you guys, how repetitive this gang is. And if we could just get people to open their mind's eye a little bit, they would clearly see what is going on. And again, my one warning before I get into this is if you appreciate this video, you probably want to figure out a way to download it, because the most common thing I'm getting struck for lately are my videos about Bill Gates. I seem to not be able to touch. Well, it's not just me. It seems like a lot of us cannot talk about this person right now. It's a hot ticket item to get you censored. But anyhow, Bill Gates' new documentary, Solving for Zero, and it's based on his book, How to Avoid a Climate Crisis, which came out last year. And again, if you guys have read my last book, in the book, I quote Bill Gates with his exact words from his speech, Innovating to Zero, which he gave February 2010. The very beginning of February 2010, Bill Gates gave his TED Talk, Innovating to Zero. And it was just days after he was in Davos, Switzerland, promoting his decade of vaccines idea. That was January 2010. He said, in 10 years, we need a push to vaccinate all the people of the world. And then 10 years later, in his city, Seattle, the first confirmed case of coronavirus in the world outside of mainland China that led to the massive worldwide vaccination push. And right now, Bill Gates and others have been gathering and drafting up world agreements for the next pandemic. By the way, he has a documentary with that name, The Next Pandemic, about how to get people vaccinated more rapidly in the next outbreak. And at the same time, Bill Gates is announcing, his new climate change film. Anthony Fauci, his business partner, is saying that this fall, he sees a really bad outbreak ahead. He sees COVID coming back worse than ever this fall. What do you know? Here we are getting into the scene when we're in the clear, and Anthony Fauci needs to come out and promote some more fear for 6 months ahead. But anyway, Bill Gates, at his Innovating to Zero speech, he spoke very specifically. Again, if you look up his Innovating to Zero, I forget how long it is. It's not even a half hour long. But you don't even have to watch. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the fifth or sixth minute. Funny, it's in that distance, but it's somewhere right in there that he says what you need to hear. And he says we need to reduce population going ahead. We need to reduce population. And he says we can do it if we do a good job with vaccinations and reproductive services. And keep in mind, his father was big on reproductive services. His father's one of the main creators of Planned Parenthood. But anyhow, he's very specific about what he says for how we can reduce population if we do a good job with vaccines, are the words that come out of his mouth. And Google continues to take people down for repeating that, even though that is what he said. And I imagine if you talk to these big tech gurus that think they have the right to, end free speech, I think they'd say, well, that might have been what he said, but that's obviously not what he meant. Well, again, why delete our videos then? If somebody knows what he meant, make it clear to me, because I'm going to make my case again no matter how many times I lose my channel. So, look at this. We're going to get to the point. But if you're new here, we're going to talk about Gematria. It comes from Kabbalah. Kabbalah, it has a book. It's called the Book of Formation. On the opening page, it says, God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. This stuff is important to occultists. And if you're sound asleep, you might not realize that the occult have their symbols all over this world. And again, I learned about this through Manly P. Hall's The Secret Teachings of All Ages. If you don't know who Manly P. Hall is, and you just think everything's a conspiracy theory, you should look into his work, because he's a real person, not a conspiracy theorist. He's a very prominent Freemason who shared a lot of secrets about the occult, and one of them he shared is that there's this important code of letters and numbers. And Do you see how William Henry Gates equals 201 and 84? In his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, he reveals the alphabetic order, cipher. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Still using the alphabetic order, just making the letters single-digit numbers. So A is still 1, B still 2, C still 3. It changes when you get to J, the 10th letter, because in numerology, a number has to be a single digit. So J, the 10th letter, becomes 1 plus 0 is 1. K, the 11th letter, is 1 plus 1 is 2. L, the 12th letter, is 1 plus 2 is 3. Use these ciphers. William Henry Gates is 201 and 84, like solving for 0. And again, these numbers are very important to the Jesuit order. And remember, Bill Gates' other business partner, the Jesuit Klaus Schwab, he hosted Event 201, which was co-sponsored by Bill Gates, whose full name is William Henry Gates. He was the main co-sponsor. Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation 1 month before the outbreak in Wuhan, China, the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China, that are credited to the Jesuit order. So again, these are the numbers of the Jesuits. This is the code of the Jesuits, who are occultists. And again, it's not just the letters and numbers. It's looking at the fact that Bill Gates was married to Melinda Gates, who comes from a family of Jesuit priests whose birthday just happens to be the same August 15th birthday as the Jesuit order. Paris, France, where the Jesuits were created, like the Climate Accords, as we'll get to. Moderna, one of the biggest beneficiaries of the pandemic, the Jesuit-educated CEO out of Paris, France, born on the 201st day of the year. But you can see down below how solving for 0 and the Jesuit order have all the same numbers in their base ciphers. If you're new here, what we realized after doing this research I was doing it for over 3 years when I realized that you have to run the alphabetic order in reverse, which Aleister Crowley talked about. Again, a famous occultist who wrote about gematria, who wrote about things like similar to what Manly P. Hall wrote about, except for Manly P. Hall's a lot easier to understand than Aleister Crowley if you've ever read their books. Aleister Crowley, very difficult to understand. But you see how the Jesuit order, besides the numbers 201 and 84, also has 177 and 69? The main host of Event 201 was Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab, who has the 177 and 69 in his name, prominent Jesuit leader of the World Economic Forum. Donald Trump was at the World Economic Forum to gloat with his to gloat about his trade deal with China. It's in Switzerland on the day coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S., which we'll get to. Donald Trump is Jesuit educated. Joe Biden, Jesuit educated. D.C., the land of the Jesuits. This nation, pretty much a Jesuit creation. Same with this world as we know it. But anyway, you just have to say, what are the odds that the name of his film has all the same gematria as the Jesuit order, in light of everything we've been talking about? Again, I already have a book out there, you guys. It's been out for almost 2 years now, educating about the exact things I'm talking about now. It's 2 years later, and here's the latest detail in a long laundry list of very repetitive details. And again, with regards to climate change, Agenda 21 was agreed to at the start of the 90s, and the signing date by participating nations was June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. 201, right? So, look at this. The film he's coming out for, Solving for 0, is based on his book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. And look at this. From his birthday to the day that he released that book was 111 days later, okay? Not to mention he moved his company, Microsoft, from New Mexico. You know, New Mexico, where the aliens are, up to Seattle, where the Space Needle is. Just like Jeff Bezos started out in New Mexico and moved up to Seattle in the Space Needle. Not to mention the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's right across the street from the Space Needle, the world's biggest needle. When he's Mr. Vaccine, Bill Gates has the same October 28th birthday as Jonas Salk, the great vaccine hero. But anyway, it was 111 days after his birthday, and the name of that book title, again, just using the two ciphers that Manly P. Hall taught in The Secret Teachings of All Ages, and essentially says to the reader, take this knowledge. I mean, the book's full of all sorts of information, not just gematria, just all sorts of occult teachings, little secrets, things you can recognize if you pay attention in the world. The reason I took to the numbers thing is because, first of all, I'm numbers oriented. You know, I once upon a time I got a scholarship for accounting, the most exciting subject there ever was. But at the not only that, I mean, pattern recognition. I just saw that they were putting numbers everywhere. 9/11 was such an obvious number ritual to me, and I was like, okay, what is it about numbers and numerology that I need to know? And it took me a long time to figure it out. I didn't just find it overnight. But look, in the two ciphers he teaches, the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. How to avoid a climate crisis is 111 when you use numerology. Vaccination is 111 when you just use the alphabetic order. And in his innovating to zero speech, I mean, that's literally what he said, right? The solution for climate crisis is we need to reduce people, and we can do it if we do a good job with vaccines. And again, for the censor police, who every time the video gets taken down for medical misinformation because the WHO doesn't like it, I mean, I guess it's just like we're dealing with a criminal cartel. Again, I'm not saying that I'm right, though, to plea with the criminal cartel. I'm not saying I'm necessarily right. I'm saying prove me wrong. I'm saying this is what I'm worried about. I got friends and family that are all getting jabbed up, and it's obvious there's plans to get a whole lot more jabs, and I'm hoping on their benefit. I guess you can't even say anything. But anyway, I think you understand my point. But what are the odds of this? What are the odds of this? And speaking of what are the odds of this, do you remember what day coronavirus was confirmed in Seattle? Because I remember like it was the back of my hand. January 21st, 2020. The first confirmed case, that's the breaking news, January 21st, 2020. First confirmed case of coronavirus in U.S. Remember in the month leading up to it, it was all about China, China's lockdown, the viral spread in China, the death toll, the scientists, the whistle, all this fear out of China, right? And then on January 21st, 2020, first case in Seattle. And I just thought right away, I'm like, okay, Bill Gates is on TV talking about this more than anybody, and then it just happens to be his city. But look at this. From January 21st, 2020 to the day that he published that book, exactly 56 weeks. This part's happened since this book came out. This book was finished. I was finished writing this book pretty much at the end of July in 2020. Added to it when the August 4th Beirut bombing thing happened. And then it's been out in distribution since the beginning of September. And that's 2020. So this book that he wrote came out after. But I wish it had come out before, because if you have read my book, it's all about what's going on and how everything is 56, right? It's 20156. For the record, Event 201, from the original first confirmed case of coronavirus in the world, from Event 201 to that day was a span of 56 days. And there's been about a gazillion 56 rituals. But again, from the first case of COVID being in the U.S. to his book coming out, well, the day it was confirmed. It was confirmed January 21st, which we're going to talk about. But from that day to his book coming out, 56 weeks. And again, in Gematria, in what Manly P. Hall described as the most important cipher, climate change is 56. Paris, France, that's where the Jesuits are from. That's where the Paris Climate Accords were agreed to. Paris, France, 56. Society of Jesus, 56. That's the Jesuits. They've been in Washington, D.C. longer than the federal government. Think of the Jesuit Anthony Fauci, who went to Holy Cross, who's very much the face of the pandemic. Anthony Fauci, 56. Some people might think of Cuomo, the 56th governor of New York, educated at Fordham, Jesuit educated. Some others might think of Gavin Newsom, whose name also equals 56, who said in 8 weeks, which is 56 days, 56% of California will get coronavirus. He's Jesuit educated, went to the University of Santa Clara. I mean, but these are the main faces of COVID. Klaus Schwab, of course, a Jesuit. But look at the Pope's encyclical about what to do about coronavirus and COVID, called Fratelli Tutti. Look it up. Pope Francis' encyclical about what to do about coronavirus and COVID vaccine. Fratelli Tutti, 56. The word Pope is 56. The Jesuits serve the Pope. Toilet paper. You know where that fits in, right? Toilet paper. The toilet paper crisis at the beginning of coronavirus. Mind control. You should obviously see where that fits in. I could have put all-seeing eye on there. That's another 56. It's all about money. It's all about controlling your mind's eye. But COVID vaccine, coronavirus, climate change. I mean, isn't it obvious? Boris Johnson in the UK, the Prime Minister's door. Above the door is the Jesuit Orders logo. Boris Johnson read the 56-page winter plan for what to do about coronavirus. Lockdown London on Remember the 5th of November. Guy Fawkes Day associated with the Jesuits, where the Anonymous gets their symbolism from. Again, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. The UK strain. And again, that's why you got to know gematria forwards and backwards. Coronavirus in reverse is 70. The UK strain, at first they said it was 70% more infectious. Then they said it was 56% more infectious. And notice how United Kingdom's also 70. But Boris Johnson, 56 years old when the pandemic began. Donald Trump, his Jesuit education began 56 years before 2020. Dan Brown, who wrote the Da Vinci Code series about the Illuminati and the Catholic Church. The Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. But again, he turned 56 in 2020. So did Melinda Gates, Bill's wife at the time, born on the same day as the Jesuits, and so on and so forth. All these rituals. Jeff Bezos, who pretty much took over the world, was 56 in 2020. Also operating in Seattle. He put out the remake of Utopia about billionaires depopulating the world with a virus and a vaccine. And the Da Vinci Code series, Inferno. The movie came out on Bill Gates' birthday with Tom Hanks. It runs 2 hours and 1 minute long, 2:01. And, who's the star of that movie? Tom Hanks, born in 56, the first celebrity to get the virus right on the day the pandemic was declared by the numbers. Remember, the pandemic was declared March 11th, 3/11. 2:01 is 3/11 in base 8 counting. But, by the way, the day his book came out, the 47th day of the year, I'll show you how this matters. That's also the day that the Microsoft Redmond campus was relocated, the 47th day of the year, which is right next to Seattle, both on the 47th parallel. But look, when you just use the alphabetic order, vaccination equals 111, like we talked about. If you use Sumerian gematria, which is multiplying the alphabetic order times 6, A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, D is 24, E is 30, F is 36, G is 42, so on, vaccination equals 666. And remember, there was the Clade X simulation May 15th, 2018, put on by the same people who did Event 201, the same group of people, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Johns Hopkins, the World Health Organization. That simulation was done exactly 666 days before the pandemic was declared. YouTube finally did take their 30-minute highlight reel down of that. You can still watch the entire thing, which is several hours, but they took down their 30-minute highlight reel, and it's probably because I recommended it so many times for people to watch. But again, in the simulation, they rush out vaccines that hurt people. Ultimately, their vaccine program does more damage to the populace in the simulation. And again, it was done 666 days before the pandemic was declared. And what pisses me off so much is how many times videos where I share this information has been taken down for medical misinformation when nothing I'm saying is false. Everything I'm saying is 100% correct. The quotes are 100% correct. The dates are 100% correct. And as time goes on, we learn more and more about it. For years I was pointing out the 666 thing and the fact that Jesuit-educated Trump declared Operation Warp Speed on the same day, May 15th, 2020, and realized that day can be written 15/5, where coronavirus is also 155. All these numbers have been used ritualistically with coronavirus. The NBA locked down on the 142nd day of the season, then resumed the season 142 days later, on and on. But where coronavirus is 155, so is Christianity, and it's what teaches about 666, right? Revelation, as we'll get to in a minute. But now think about this. Aside from the biblical connection, which we're going to connect more to in a moment, I also meant to say, what we've learned also since is that everything I just showed I already knew, but recently Rambo pointed out that May 15th is the celebration of Mercury. And in Roman mythology, which equals 201, Mercury's the trickster. Remember, Muse, the band, put on the show 201 days after Pope Francis' birthday, decked out in the Jesuit colors in Italy, opening the song with Supremacy, where it says, it's a song about brainwashing the children and how your emancipation is your fantasy. Again, Muse is a name that relates to Roman mythology. And again, Mercury's the trickster. And mercury on the periodic table is the element that weighs it rounds up to 201. Its atomic mass. It's 200.59 blah blah blah. But that would round up to 201. Mercury, the trickster. Mercury in vaccines. In 2012, there used to be a lot of videos on Google's YouTube back before it was a censored platform where people were sharing their stories about what happened with their children. There was so much content on Google's YouTube platform about parents who thought maybe some other parents might want to think twice about possibly not making the mistake that they might have made with their child. But then Google had to flush all those thousands of videos and testimonials in the name of misinformation. And it just makes me sick that people can't see it. And the masses who can't see it, they also hate people like us. They think we're the evil ones and we deserve to be censored. I mean, that's where karma's going to come in, but we're a sinking ship. Even though I hate and despise these people and I talk about how they deserve a bullet in the head like I'm the other Zach on Rage Against the Machine, again, I don't think I am wrong about that, but ultimately, I mean, the reason I've worked so hard every day is to wake up even the people I hate. I mean, because humanity has to wake up. If we don't, we're all sinking to the bottom of the ocean. All together. But here, again, just coming back to how this all really makes sense and how these people do everything in mathematical, numerical ritual. Climate change targets carbon, right? Carbon emissions. I mean, to me, there's a million other things we could be targeting when it comes to the environment. Like, how about not having... I mean, just think about in the time of the pandemic, all the masks and just gloves and crap just blowing all over the street. I went to the beach in the time of the pandemic and masks were just blowing all over the beach. And you know where they're going to end up? In the ocean, around a turtle's neck or killing some other life form that chokes to death on somebody's COVID mask. I'm sure these people care about the environment a whole lot. Anyway, carbon. Carbon is the 666 element. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. 666. Isn't it funny how they do it? And you see how the news first broke on December 1st at the end of last year that he was going to turn his book into a movie? Okay, here let's go back to January 21st and the things we were talking about that day. By the way, there's Fauci doing the hidden hand, Pope Francis doing the hidden hand, the man who coined the term corona doing the hidden hand, and again, just all the 201s. The Jesuit order, Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the first Jesuit pope, that's Pope Francis, who's the first to live in Suite 201, Jose Joaquin de Fer, who coined the term corona in relation to an eclipse. The COVID vaccine went live in the U.S. December 14th, the day that... the total solar eclipse happened in Argentina, the Pope's country, the day there was a corona. And again, that was the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting, and they said the first person to get vaccinated in the U.S. was the black nurse named Sandra. And again, Sandy Hook was established in 56. The shooting happened 56 years later. Adam Peter Lanza, 56. COVID vaccine, 56. Jonas Salk, with the same birthday as Bill Gates, first tested the polio vaccine on elementary school students. Elementary school students got shot in a different kind of way. And not to mention it was at Arsenal Elementary School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when you add up the full title, 201. But the Holy Bible's also 201, like William Henry Gates. If you run Bill Gates' name in reverse, it's 258, like Number of the Beast, like how he established his vaccine alliance on the 258th day of his age, July 12th, 1999, like how his dad died on the 258th day of the year in the leap year, 2020, on September 14th. Like how Jeff Bezos put out the remake of Utopia about billionaires depopulating the world with a virus and a vaccine on his 258th day of his age in the time of the pandemic. Tasteful. Isn't that so tasteful of Jeff Bezos to put out a movie like that in the time of the COVID vaccine? A remake of a TV show about billionaires depopulating the world with a vaccine. The plan is to sterilize humanity. But, and Netflix re-uploaded Between, where it keeps going to Medical Building 201, and that's about a virus being unleashed on a population as an experiment by the government. Another nice upload. Thank you. But, Between equals 74. Event 201 was on the day, leaving 74 days left in the air. Again, these people are the Society of Jesus. Interestingly enough, Lucifer, Jesus, Cross, Messiah, Gospel, Parables, Occult, they all equal 74. Parables, riddles. But with regards to Revelation, we're going to get to the 121 piece. There's letters written to 7 churches in Revelation. 7 churches is 201. 7 churches of Asia, which they're also referred to as 201. 7 churches of Revelation is 121, like Revelation itself, like coronavirus outbreak, like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, like Johns Hopkins University, like World Health Organization. Again, 121 was the day that they confirmed coronavirus is the first confirmed case outside of China in the world, in Bill Gates' backyard. And then this, on December 1st, another 121 little riddle. He's doing his book. He's turning it into a movie. Oh, my God, man. And here's a cool thing about Derek's calculator, a feature that I love of his calculator. In the base cipher, or you can do it in whatever ciphers you can match. But like if you find something, if you want to see something that's close that could be related, I use the match function of his book, How to Avoid a Climate Crisis. And you can see in the base ciphers, 273, 375, 150. Of course, 150 is an Illuminati number. Again, heliocentrism 150, also 201 the other way. They say the sun is 150 million kilometers away. But Bill Gates' name is a lot like Order of Illuminati as well, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. But you see how it's the same as Third Order of St. Francis in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. And the Third Order of St. Francis consists of religious and laymen and women who try to emulate St. Francis' spirit of performing works of teaching, charity, and social service. So that's named after St. Francis of Assisi. Pope Francis is also named after St. Francis of Assisi. And again, this is a Jesuit. Jesuits operate by trickery. Again, the definition for Jesuitism in the early 19th century, like around 1820, 1830, was trickery and deception, Jesuitism. Because they pretend to be things they're not to achieve their goals. And they're willing to do what needs to be done to achieve their goals, which is always in the interest of the power of the church. And again, if people could just take off the blindfold and see, the church was always interested in sucking up money from the populace. Realize they got in the business. They went from church to government to college tuition to banking. They're in everything. All the things that are bleeding humanity dry. The medical system. And that's the thing, too, with the 121, you guys. It's just like, you have to understand, all these presidents are part of it. It's a string of ongoing agendas, from Bush to Obama to Trump to Biden, probably back to Trump. Remember, this 121 thing we were just talking about, Biden was Biden was, kind of getting made fun of while Obama was back in the House. Affordable Care Act is 121, right? Obama was there 121 days before his birthday to talk about the Affordable Care Act. And again, this is medical related, right? Our government for the past 20 years has been actively working towards having greater and greater control over all aspects of our lives. You might recall when Obama became president, that's when he made the rule that you had to participate in his health insurance plan or you were going to be fined by the state, right? And again, there's just all these violations of liberty and just making you do things or else, threat of fine, jail, some kind of punishment, social credit scoring coming next. And you just see how this is all part of a system. But 121, again, understanding that all of this stuff is biblical. Revelation, you see how it's 121 forwards? It's 149 in reverse. What day did his dad die? He died on 14/9, September 14, 2020, the 258th day of the year. Again, notice how William Henry Gates is 258. Look at number of the beast, 258. Look at Order of Illuminati. It's got the 201 and the 258. Again, Bill Gates established his vaccine alliance on the 258th day of his age. His dad dies on the 258th day of the year, in the year of the pandemic. And again, on a revelation date, just like how the vaccine shows up on a revelation date. And you see how Revelation's 49? Look at Washington. Washington's 49 in the same cipher. And that's what these are. These are biblical riddles. 666 is taught about in Revelation. What's it say about the number of the beast 666? It's something it says it's something you have to have if you want to buy or sell. I mean, for people who say, well, a vaccination's not a mark on your hand or on your head. Yeah, I get that part. I'm not arguing that this is exactly the mark. I've never said that in any video. But I've said, isn't it obvious there's clear parallels? They're quoting the same numbers, the numbers that speak to that book, the Holy Bible, that book in the Holy Bible, Revelation. They're using the numbers right from that. They're doing it over and over. I mean, if you guys go back and... When the FDA gave full authorization to the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, it was 66 days before Bill Gates' 66th birthday, when he got divorced from Melinda, the couple that got together in 87, supposedly. It was 87 days before his 66th birthday. When he got vaccinated on January 22nd, it was his 87th day of his age. Not to mention Bill Gates is 87. It's also 57 like vaccine. Talk about all those numbers, really. But... the 174. You know what? Just to make the point, let me just pull up the post. Bill Gates, FDA, 66, 174, 258, 87. They used every number in the ritual. Well, my search function... Come on, man. The search function, I don't know what's going on with my website and the search function. That protected MLB notes, like, how could that be what I'm searching for? Come on. It should have pulled up on that. Here it is right here. Okay. So, there's a lot to this. The FDA stands for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which has 174 right in it, like number of the beast. And again, it got the full authorization August 23rd, 66 days before his 66th birthday. And again, he's got the 258 and 87 in his name. And again, he supposedly got his first vaccine on January 22nd, 2021, his 87th day of his age. Go back and look it up. Again, nothing I'm saying is medical misinformation. I'm just stating nothing but facts, patterns. And... again, just in case you've never seen the Cladex thing yourself, please do look it up. May 15th, 2018. But not to mention Cladex has the 113 in it, like the day they ended up declaring the pandemic, like Johns Hopkins University, like coronavirus pandemic. But exactly 666 days prior, Apocalypse is 113, which is the Greek translation of Revelation. You know, there's a lot to say about all this. But I've given the same lessons countless times. I mean, I got a book about it out there, you know. HR 6666. They even gave us one extra 6. But, look, I mean, just like, look at these headlines. Oh, my God. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, from the Pope's birthday to that January 21st day was also 35 days after the Pope's birthday. You could also say it was his 36th day of his age, and 666 is the 36th triangular number. Probably not an accident, especially since the Jesuit logo's IHS, where I is the 9th letter, H is the 8th, and S is the 19th. 9 plus 8 plus 19, 36. I've covered so many things, I even forget some of them, but... Keep in mind, Pope Francis is 85 right now. Iesous Omnium Salvator 85, what IHS stands for. But honestly, I can't wait until this documentary comes out. And since I was just telling you about 174 and Number of the Beast, just the big sports star in Seattle who just went to Denver, Russell Wilson, I just want you to remind that the day after he was drafted into Major League Baseball, the very next day his dad dropped dead, 174 days from his own birthday, and then he ended up playing 174 games for the Seattle Seahawks and getting traded 174 days from his coach's birthday back to Colorado, where he was drafted to play baseball. And anyway, it's the same stuff because the same people control your NFL. They control your news, your Oval Office, and Russell Wilson had 158 games in the regular season and 16 in the playoffs, 174. Finishes with 113 career wins. Funny. It's funny the same numbers just pop up everywhere. But, yeah, if you missed the work I did on Russell Wilson and why Aaron Rodgers re-signed on the same day, and, again, the death of his dad, just... And don't forget, Russell Wilson, he was on the team that was known for the Beast Quake. Here, I got to put this together better for you. Okay, Seattle, remember, Bill Gates' book came out on the 47th day of the year. He moved his computer campus. Keep in mind, computer and internet are both 666 as well. He moved his computer campus from New Mexico to Redmond and Microsoft on the 47th day of 86. The word beast is 47, like Seattle's on the 47th parallel. Like the Space Needle used to have a restaurant that did a full rotation every 47 minutes. It's also on the 122nd Meridian West, like Satanic's 122. San Francisco is also on the 122nd Meridian, where the Satanic Church was established, which St. Francis of Assisi is named after. And it makes me wonder about St. Francis of Assisi. He goes down as a saint, this great man. But, you know, at the rate history is going, Bill Gates is going down as a saint. Anthony Fauci's probably going down as a saint. Tom Brady's probably going down as a saint. So who knows how great these people really are from history either. And it's funny that Google, which celebrates its birthday the same day the Jesuits are recognized by Rome, they got to say that Seattle's elevation's 174 feet. I don't need to ask why they have that height. You know, I mean, depends on what part of the city you're in. You're down by the sea, you're not at 174 feet. If you're up on the big hill, probably the highest hill in the town, you probably are. But again, Beast in 47. Remember, the Beast Quake in Seattle. Here, I'll show you this, because I got all this stuff documented. I bet if I say this and I don't show it, somebody out there will be like, yeah, right, man, you're full of shit. All right, here, I'll show you. Russell Wilson 666. This should pull it up. Okay, so you can go back and watch this game and see that everything I'm about to tell you is true. It was the Seahawks versus the Saints, just like the game the Beast Quake happened in. And if you don't know what the Beast Quake is, it's rated as one of the top 10 greatest NFL moments ever when the underdog Seattle Seahawks, who had a losing record in the regular season, beat the higher-seeded Saints in a home game in the playoffs. And it made everybody go, how can a losing team get a home game just because they won their lousy division? Man, that Saints team was good. They didn't deserve that. Anyway, they called the play the Beast Quake that won it for the Seahawks. And so fast forward to September 22nd, 2019, it's the Saints and the Seahawks in Seattle, and they got to show the highlight of the Beast Quake, and then after the highlight, literally as the highlight ends, what happens is the Seattle running back has his biggest run of the season. It's 33 yards down the field, but he gets hit at the end of it, fumbles the ball, and the Saints run it all the way back for a defensive touchdown. And you have to think about what they're doing. This is a scripted game, and this is a mockery of the fans. If you're awake, you see how scripted sports are. You hear the announcer always saying they couldn't have scripted it any better. But those types of things are designed to really ruin people's day and make them mad and sour and going to work bitter the next day. In Seattle, people live and breathe Seahawks football, just like a lot of cities in America. And they're reliving this greatest moment. They come out of the highlight, oh my God, the best run of the season, for it to end with a fumble and a defensive touchdown. I mean, that's like the ultimate 180 in a sports game in record time in a matter of seconds. So, when the next drive starts, now that Seattle gets the ball back, now they just gave up a touchdown, they put up a stat about the last time Russell Wilson had a rushing touchdown. And what do you know? He ends up with a rushing touchdown on the drive. And this is right after the Beastquake thing they just did. So I just had to look based on the date they put up there. Hold on. Where's the screenshot? Okay, so Russell Wilson, 17th career regular season rushing touchdown. Ended up being his first since November 26-17. Okay? November 26-17 was the last time he had a rushing touchdown before the day of this game. And look at this. 666 days on the 47th parallel, where Beast is 47, where Washington State's the 42nd state, and the Beast rules for 42 months in Revelation. The Super Bowl in Arizona equals 42, is where Russell Wilson forgot to hand off to the Beast, Marshawn Lynch, at the goal line, and he threw the interception to number 21. His 21st pass on the down 2nd and 1 on the date, 2/1, got intercepted by number 21 to give Tom Brady his 21st playoff win and make him 4-2 in Super Bowls. 42-21. Same Jesuits run your NFL that run your sports league. Jesuit 21-42. You know, those are Bible numbers too. Bible's 21, 42 generations to Jesus. New Testament, 42. Math equals 42. It begins with Matthew. Notice how New Testament is 42 and 66. New Testament 42 ends with the 66th book, Revelation. Math 42, 66, also 21. Math riddles all day, every day. Rig sports, rig news, 9/11 Patriot Act, Patriots. Katrina, another story that made no sense, and then the Saints win a Super Bowl when they can come back to town. Los Angeles is burning up. Houston's flooded. The World Series is Houston over LA. Water puts out fires. Something we called, as soon as the flooding and the burning was happening. Seeing how it all goes. But yeah, think about it, you guys. The vaccine, the riddle with the beast, Seattle, the needle, Bill Gates. Don't forget, Jonas Salk's 42nd birthday was Bill Gates' first birthday, the day the king of rock and roll got the polio vaccine on live TV 42 weeks after his own birthday when rock star is 666. That's Sumerian cipher. But yeah, please do download this video because, again, the information's got to get out there. Please upload it on other places where it won't get censored. And we'll just see how long it gets to stay up before it gets taken down for medical misinformation. Sometimes they let it stay up for a month. Sometimes it happens in less than a day. And I just know almost every video I've done on Bill Gates just talking about these things has been taken down for medical misinformation. And it's very annoying. It's very annoying. And you can't get a response. You can't say, where is the misinformation at? I'm only stating facts. Sorry, we're upholding our deletion of your video and your strike. It's like, oh, thanks, asshole. Suppose I can't get a response because there isn't a real sincere one. But yeah, that's also how, besides computer viruses and human viruses, Gematria is what brings together the vaccination, the computer, and the internet. And you don't need to ask why Apple's first consumer computer was priced at $666 or why Google hides that 666 in their logo. Or why HR 6666 was the federal government partnering with Apple and Google to contact trace us so they can make sure we're safe from the killer germs. I can still think of all the people in Seattle that walked by me and said I was a crazy person for sharing this information with them on the streets, You're crazy. Bill Gates is a hero. You're a scumbag. You're a weirdo. It's like, oh my God. Talk about Oppositeville. But yeah, it's just, It's just, If you guys got here late, feel free to rewind the video. Again, thank you to everyone who likes and shares. And I do see some people got generous during the video, so let me say thank you to the super chatters. And then we'll call it a night. I think I went over time. I told Sweet Lady it wouldn't be more than 20 minutes, but I have a tendency to go a little bit longer. Hold on. Almost there. Okay, Jesuit World Order News. My man with the taco lunch money. Also, the pandemic was declared on Pope Francis' 85th day of his age. It was March 11th, 2020, which was a leap year. So that made it the 71st day of the year. As we know, Catholic is 71. It would have been 85 days after the Pope's birthday or his 86th day of his age. And we know Isus Hominum Salvator is 85. Jesuits is 86. We know what 86th means. Bill Gates moved to Seattle in 86. Okay. And we know what happened to Hank Aaron. It ended up being good for a Braves World Series in a big 2-0-1 ritual. Who can forget what happened on the 42nd pitch of the deciding game? But, yeah, good observation. By the way, what's the other big date? I thought of something. Oh, yeah. That's what it is. The day that coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S. was 70 days after the Superior General's birthday, Arturo Sosa. You know, and 70 was huge with the original ritual because it was synced up with Melinda Gates, whose name is 70. Her birthday is the Jesuit Order's birthday. And they said it was in Snohomish counties where the person lived. They flew into the Seattle airport, which is in King County, like the crown wears, or the king wears the crown. Corona can mean crown. The top of the tree of life is known as the crown. Tree of life's also 56. That's the Kabbalah model where this whole letters and numbers things comes from. Again, the Book of Formation. But Snohomish County is 70. They said the person who had the first case of COVID was from Snohomish County. And again, 70 days after the Superior General's birthday. Who's he serve? He serves the Vatican and the Pope. Vatican 70, Francis 70. And just all these rituals coordinated with the Pope and the Superior General. And then don't forget what they did with all the Omicron 70 stuff. So, yeah, great observation. And a second super chat from the same gentleman. Hey, Zach and everyone, been gone for a while, working a bunch of overtime and want to use their money to invest in my business and podcasts. Do it, man. Good for you. Good for you working hard, saving up. And yeah, I'm happy to promote it once you get it going. And then young Ben, how to avoid a climate disaster. Oh, Ben says, in addition to the 111, so here, I'll go back to the title. I already see where he's going with it. Again, how to avoid a crisis. I think Ben's shown us that the word crisis itself. Wait. Well, I see some of the numbers that are interesting, like the 49, but hold on. Did I read it right? Zach, how to avoid a climate disaster equals 111. Zach put crisis in his screenshot. I don't know. Maybe I'm too dumb to understand the simple explanation. Young Ben's smarter than me. Hold on. What's up, Itachi?
Hey, man. I was just streaming earlier, and, this troll, Casey Jones, just hops in my chat.
Do you know I'm live streaming right now? Do you know I'm doing a live stream?
Yeah, I do. I just was curious about, if you want to kind of set the record on who this guy is, because I know he changes his name a lot, and I just want people in the community.
So, again, the thing that's frustrating about him is he's really good at connecting astrology and gematria. He's one, and it's a strange thing, because he's one of the best contributors in the community, but I didn't know that he knew anything about anything. The way he came onto my radar is, I invested a lot of time and effort, and it was a huge setback what he did. We set up a website at the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, with the mission of getting people to wake up and on board and away from the censorship, called All for Truth. And then this guy just shows up on the platform. I'd never seen him post anywhere before, just spamming all day that I'm a shill, a Jewish shill, all day. And literally single-handedly ruined the platform. But then I found out it was more of a setup than that, because it turned out he was friends with the people who built the website, who I trusted, because I thought they were followers. So what they did is they banned me from the website, and then they turned it into a flat Earth website for a while. And the whole thing sucked. But that's where he showed up on the scene as a flat Earth troll who was actually connected to the guys who built the website. And you know what's funny about the guys who built the website? Well, there was two of them. One of them was more the builder, I think, than the other. Who even knows who these guys are? My mistake was I trusted people online who were from Florida who seemed legit, and I thought they really wanted to help me out, and I was more naive back then. But I remember when they first started, they said, you'd laugh at what our business address is, and it was 188, like Bavarian Illuminati, and now I look back and I say, they just might have been. I mean, the website they made was awesome. It was like better than Facebook. What's sad to say is it's way better than what Free to Find Truth is now, but it was like too good to be true, and that's why they did what they did in hindsight. So anyway, somehow he's connected to all that. He continues to leave helpful comments in the community and stir up shit, and you know,
is it Bobby Simpson? Is that the guy?
Bobby Simpson, Casey Jones, and all the other different names he uses. Just like a lot of the trolls, they have a bunch of different accounts and names, but yeah.
I see. And my thing was I was streaming and he was saying how, like, really you think that sports gematria is a shill? Because I was talking about how he's defending Simon Dan's lackey, this cat. Conspiracy
Not to mention he's been trolling me for 7 straight years. I mean, what man like literally what other person follows me that's on top of every Twitter post, recording every video instantly, on my Patreon all day, stirring up shit under his multiple accounts? I mean, think about what kind of human being this is. And why does he now need to be Simon Dan's mom? Again, there's a network. It's because we're exposing. I mean, look at what I just showed in this video. Look at what I just showed in this video to understand why we have the shills and trolls around that we do. We are exposing serious fucking shit, and they're just here to help suppress it all the more. I mean, it's sad, but it just comes with the territory of what we're doing. So.
But I just think it's mental illness because the guy sports gematria. Like, if you look at his Twitter, even sometimes he'll tweet gematria, not like even talking about you. But Simon Dan's crowd is saying gematria's all bullshit, but he's siding with them just to make you look bad. So I'm just like, you know, yeah.
Well, sports gematria is somebody that tried to turn gematria into a financial practice and a business for himself like 4 years before I did, and he learned from me, and he wanted me to partner with him, but I didn't want to work with him because he was just an annoying guy in the comments. So... What's funny is he's always trying to slander me and make me look bad. He's a guy who used to always go against all my work and leave false predictions for games left and right, like he could never hit anything, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, but now he wants to sit on here all day and doctor up my videos and try to make me look bad when he's always sucked at the work and just been a nuisance. I mean, the guy's a fucking loser is ultimately what he is. Like a literal bottom of the barrel fucking loser is who he is. Period. I mean, and anyone who'd argue with that, you must be as well, because what kind of man just rides another man's dick 24/7, 365 for 7 years straight? Isn't that really fucking weird? I mean,
yeah, I swear it's a mental illness to be around this work that long. And
unless it's it's either severe mental illness, but even if you're mentally ill, how do you? I mean, still, like, I think a mentally ill person, they'd take more breaks and not be here all the time.
It's probably an agent. It's
exactly, like it's his fucking job.
Yeah. So I'll leave it at that. I just had to, set the record straight on who this guy is.
And again, I want to warn people, even though we use the Gematria calculator, I'm grateful Derek came around and did this, but realize Derek kind of started off as a troll as well. He thought Gematria was bullshit at first, so he made a calculator to see if he could disprove it, but then he couldn't. But then he's always cited, like, when the whole website thing got sabotaged, Derek went on a podcast with some other people who were doing something trying to make me look bad, and Derek went on there with them and started talking shit about me. And all I'd ever done is answer all Derek's questions and help him, like, learn the grassroots of gematria. And then he goes on and hangs out with the shill crew who just fucked up the All for Truth website. So even though Derek built this website, he's always been mad suspect to me as well.
Yeah, I don't really trust. I mean, I would say 95% of men, single men with like a cat, just something creepy about them. And to make up his own ciphers and not be explicit about that, it kind of just, I don't know. When I watch his videos, I think you could make anything equal anything. That's what people.
He brought in a lot of bad mechanics, and what's real annoying is he's taunting people so a lot of people are like blown away by his decodes, but part of the way you can find that a lot of the stuff he does is coincidental is because when people try to bring those mechanics into sports decoding, it misses like almost every single time, and that's when you start to realize it's like those things are probably a coincidence. And what's funny is like when I was on a hot streak and nailed a bunch of sports, Derek told a story about how nobody's figured out how to really decode sports yet in the community, and he thought he did, and he thought he found the ultimate decode doing like his bullshit way of connecting things with 50 ciphers. And he's like, man, I lost so much money on that bet, so I'm not even sure about Gematria sports games. I was like, dude, fuck you, man. We're helping a ton of people make a lot of money doing it the right way, and you're bringing in your bullshit mechanics and saying because you missed on your bullshit-ass decode, which is the same way you continue to decode, you're not even sure sports are really rigged and scripted. That's why Derek has not... I mean, this website's been huge for the community, but his decoding and the shit he said has not been helpful, and it's made Gematria look stupid in a lot of regards.
I'd say he's a net even with what he's provided and how he's made it look. And, I'm not trying to criticize. I'm not trying to say I've done better, but just like, again, you watch his video, you kind of think you could connect everything with everything. I see why he doesn't branch out into the sports. And then he's trying to make it seem like it's all organic. And when you give him the opportunity on that platform, remember someone interviewed him? And the only 56s he brought to the table, it was like 56 date numerology when Trump declared it, and coronavirus is 56. It's like, how are you not mentioning the Gavin Newsom, the 56th mayor of Chicago?
And that's exactly all the stuff I've been saying the whole time. Derek does the most meaningless bullshit decodes. We're missing the main point every single fucking time. It's just like the one he just did on Obama. He skips the whole Affordable Care Act, 121 days from his birthday. Somebody showed it to me and said, Derek just did the most awesome decode. I mean, some of the stuff's interesting, but at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, all of this is interesting, but it really doesn't help me understand anything. It seems really complicated. It seems overwhelming, and I don't even know what this, like, okay, we connected Revelation 22:16, Venus and Obama, but, like, was there anything that, so...
Yeah, I hear you. I'll leave it at that, but I just, man, had to call about that troll in my chat, but, yeah, man. Have a good night. Thanks for streaming.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Itachi. Yeah. Anyway, Itachi's getting frustrated because he's starting to get flustered by a lot of people. But, yeah, you just see all sorts of people just bringing bullshit-ass decoding, making Gematria look stupid. And that's the thing that keeps coming out of Derek's mouth. Again, understand. Derek cries when I don't promote his website. I feel like he'd commit suicide if I stopped using it. And in a certain way, I still care for him because he made this tool and it really did help revolutionize the study. But the guy has been a piece of shit in terms of being helpful to me and the work. And again, something that comes out of his mouth all the time is, oh, Zach makes Gematria too simple. He dumbs it down and makes it real simple. That's where it is. That's where the important connections are day after day. Again, Derek would be like, yeah, Emmett Till might equal 129, and Biden might have signed the Emmett Till built 129th birthday, but, that's really simple, and actually what we need to do is connect it to, hold on, I'm going to figure out which eclipse it connects with. We're going to skip this one this time because it connects better with this one this time. And it's just like, dude, this needs to stop, man. This shit is not like this. These people are laying it down every day. ABC 1, 2, 3. Again, how many more times they got to do judging 47 for you? And this time they even give you 47 no votes, And then what is it today? I said, just watch. They'll do something big, 183 days after Putin's birthday. It'll be 183. There'll be something special about that. Missile strike 183 because Vladimir Putin's 183. Again, it is this simple. I taught it the right way. All these people want to come in and say, Zach made it too simple. We got to start bringing in the periodic table, and actually we got to do everything in Chaldean Gematria. It's just like, oh my God, man. No, and no. And again, the two ciphers I originally learned, the same two that I was able to do all my decodes with, make accurate predictions with from the beginning, from the very beginning, the alphabetic order, the rules of numerology. Look at how it goes together. It's in your face. Bill Gates. We need to do a good job with vaccines. That's his way to reduce population. And why does he want to reduce population? Go watch Innovating to Zero. To avoid climate disaster. It's coded in his fucking book in the most simple codes. Vaccination, how to avoid climate crisis. Exactly what came out of his mouth. For all the people who say, oh, he misspoke there, that's not what he really meant. Well, guess what? When you have this occult level of knowledge and you can look at this, you say, it looks like that's exactly what he fucking meant. Okay? And by the way, again, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. It is also about astrology and eclipses. All that stuff's important. And don't forget where Derek learned to connect things to eclipses from. He learned it from yours truly. He saw me do it, then he decided to connect everything to an eclipse. Not everything connects to an eclipse. Some rituals make sense of the eclipse. Again, I'll never forget Derek's video. CNN put out a story about 2 math teachers getting busted for making meth the same week Netflix released its movie about what's the teacher who used to make meth, the popular TV show set in New Mexico? Breaking Bad. The week that Netflix is promoting Breaking Bad, the movie, CNN promotes the story of 2 math teachers arrested for making meth. And it was so obvious that that's what it was about. And if you decoded the story, it synced up with the title of the new film. The one guy's name was like the same as Walter White, the main character in Gematria. It was so obvious. Derek comes along, sees the story, and decides to connect the meth teacher. Doesn't even talk about the Netflix Breaking Bad series that's coming out like 2 days after the story. Derek connects it to an eclipse from like 10 years ago. It's like, oh my God, man. You really think that's what it was about, Derek? The eclipse from 10 years ago? Not about Breaking Bad? I mean, it's just... And that is what it's about, you guys, because it's just subliminal, right? They get you thinking about like, oh, wow, that reminds me of Breaking Bad. Oh, on Netflix, Breaking Bad movie's out. I mean, that's how they do shit every week. Pfizer, new drug out for alopecia, right after they sponsor the alopecia Oscars. Again, it's simple. It's in your face. And that's why learning the simple number code behind it, it's just like, see? Not only are they just putting it right in front of your face, if you just add A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, they're like knocking your teeth out. And then Derek comes along, the 40-year-old virgin. And Derek hates that I bring it up, but just because he talks so much shit, again, I don't know why this guy talks so much shit. Honestly, man, maybe I thought it was kind of weird how it happened. I used to, there was a woman out there who was, through the emails and just, it was like, listen, it was years ago. She was sending me all this stuff about how much she wanted to meet and how much we would just be the perfect couple. And I just kept saying to her, oh, that's so nice, that's fine, but I got sweet lady, everything's perfect here. And then Derek came along, because this was going on for months, and then Derek came along, and she's like, I just want a man who's into gematria. Well, Derek came along, and Derek, I found out he was single, so I set these two up. They go out and meet on a date. They met in the same town, and I mean, Derek just he didn't deliver, I guess. I mean, but it's like, how can this guy resent me? I gave him this awesome knowledge. I tried to hook him up with a relationship, and then to go on and sit with a pack of trolls. Talking shit about me after I tried to set up a website to, unite and organize the world. It's just like, come on, man. That's why there's all sorts of people hanging around here pretending to be, something that I don't think they are. And Derek, if I'm wrong about you, because I know Derek will watch my video and he'll go cry in Sports Gematria, the Fed Agents channel about it, or... Mr. Hollywood, who wants to connect everything to the periodic table like Derek wants to connect everything to an eclipse. Derek, if you want to come on and explain yourself, come on the Sunday show this week, So, anyway. By the way, the Sunday show should be awesome this week. Maybe when I get back from the trip, if you want to come back on, Derek, because Jeff Young's going to come on this week, and he's going to teach sacred geometry on the fretboard of a guitar and how he gives guitar lessons. And he says it's going to just harmonize everything, the gematria, the geometry, music. So I'm looking forward to that. And remember, Jeff Young, he's a world-class guitar player. If you want to learn how to play an instrument, could be revolutionary for you. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And again, thank you to the super chatters. Sorry that I always have to talk about what's going on in the community, but people should know. And again, I think my account of things and record is fine and accurate. I've been here every day. I know exactly what I've been living out and what I've witnessed. Tons of people in this community I've helped out, and they turned their back on me for God knows what reason. I mean... Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. All right. Appreciate all you. Thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. Thanks to the mods. And until next time.